looking at the stat sheet, Zombo had a very huge game for you. And now that you have had a chance to look at the film, how impressed were you with the offensive line's work?
You know, we look at our offensive line as a working whole. We got a lot of work to do. We took some plays we blocked very well and did some things really good, and we still see a lot of stuff we need to improve with. And the credit to them, our offensive line coach, Coach Slansky, says all the time that it's his job to get that running back to the second level, get him to the first level, and they did that on some plays, and Matthew was able to finish him out really well with the help of some good receiver blocking, some things. But we understand, as you know, look at the 50 plays we ran on offense, that the ones we blocked well we're pretty successful with as a play, and other ones we got some work to do and clean up some things with. Yes?
Moving forward, do you think you're going to have a more of a balance of run and pass, or are you going to stay strictly with the run?
Well, yeah, we look at, he asked this question on the balance of our running and passing. The other night, we were just kind of taking what they were giving us. We were able to run the football and do some things with that and had some success there. But yes, we strive to be more balanced than what we were the other night. Yardage-wise was, a big disparity in our run versus pass, and we're going to have to move toward that. We had some things passing-wise that we missed and didn't execute very well, and from various standpoints, whether it's with the penalties that got us into some holes and some different things. But yes, that's something we're striving to be more balanced. We know we're going to need to be more balanced as we move into our season each week. Yes?
Despite Winnetonka's multiple attempts at a comeback, you guys continue to bounce back. What does it say about your offense?
That's a great question. Question was, despite Winnetonka's multiple attempts to come back at the score, my feelings on that was, they definitely never gave up, and this was two good football teams. We're battling all night. To our guys' credit, we never got behind. We were 7-6, and then they had a couple times where they tried 2-point conversions to tie the football game, and even one time got 2 shots at it. They had a legal man downfield and tried again, and we defended them well and kept ahead. And I thought that was good, just from our guys battling right there, but also just psychologically being able to stay ahead and keep that little lead, and then being able to push it in at the end to seal things off was great. I was really proud of our kids. A lot of them was, for many of them, it was their first time on a varsity field for an extended time, and it was a great win against a very good opponent. Yes?
How do you feel about your defense?
Well, defense, they really, for 3 quarters there tonight, they only gave up 6 points, and we were really pleased with how they played. The problem was we put them out there too many. They had to defend 73 snaps, and we know as a program we can't put a defense out there that many times. And Winnetonka made some big plays in that 4th quarter, scored 2 touchdowns and made the game tight for a while there. And we know that we have to be able to keep them, offensively keep them off and put some drives together so we can keep them off the field for that many snaps. Some individual efforts were just awesome within our defense, and going in with really just Eric Greeley and Matthew Zombo and Jackson Gillies are returning starters with that group. A lot of guys, getting in there, getting their first time defending for an entire game. We felt pleased with how things went, but we also we realized there's a lot of room for improvement, and we're going to need to improve a lot of different areas, not just individuals, but as a group. Yes?
How would you say Brock did at his first time starting quarterback?
Well, I think with some of the things we look at with our team goals, one is outrush our opponent, which we did, and he managed the game well in that sense. And then also we try to win the turnover battle, which we did 2-1. We had 1 turnover on a fumble on a run play. But we were pleased with those 2 outcomes of the game, and the management of the game was good. And, just moving the ball up and down the field is what we like to do. And we had some big run plays, long run plays that really helped our offense out offensively. Yes?
Getting linebacker Devin Houston back, how do you think that will help your rushing defense?
Well, Devin's he's a great player, and we knew that last year. And Devin Houston's a junior linebacker. He missed his entire sophomore season with a knee injury and started our middle linebacker spot. He's still getting used to the game. The last time he had played in a football game was his freshman season, and getting back into the speed of things, he made some great plays, and there's other areas. We're asking him to do a lot of things, in terms of he's lining up our front 7 and making calls and blitzes and different things with within our defense, and he's doing a great job. He's one of those kids we definitely expect to get better each and every week, and we like how aggressive he is and how downhill he is. And right off the bat, he flew to the ball on the sideline, one where James Grizzle was well, actually Devin hit made a big hit, caused the ball to come out, and James Grizz was right there to pick up the ball and recover a fumble on, I think, their second possession and get the ball in their territory. And he's just a big playmaker like that, and we've seen that all throughout the summer, and we're excited about him and the rest of our linebacking crew for this year. Yes?
What does Ray Peck do that might maybe pose a threat on Friday?
Okay, when you look at Ray Peck with Coach Cruz down there, and he's been there a long time and won some state championships at Ray Peck, and you can put in a tape from 5 or 6 years ago. It's the exact same thing. They're into a system. Their kids know it. They've done it for years, and they execute it very, very well. They're a run-first team. From the Northland, if you look at their offense, it's very similar to Kearney's offense. I know Coach Jones spent time at Ray Peck before he went in at Kearney, and they run a double wing offense. It's smash mouth football, and they run the ball first and set up play action pass. And with that, they have a very skilled 6'4" receiver on the outside that they're able to throw the ball up to, and he made some great catches not only in their jamboree but in their big win that they had against Belton last week. On defense, they very tough, big physical defense. Their middle linebacker, Logan Smith, he's 6'3", 215. He's very downhill and hits really well. Their safety, number 3, he started last year as a sophomore and is just very aggressive, makes a ton of tackles. So they do a lot of things. They're very well coached, but they do a lot of things well. And like I said, their kids are very much a product of their system, and you know what you're going to get when you come out against them on Friday night. Yes.
So being your first game, how do you feel the balance was between the 3 phases of offense, defense, and special teams?
Well, you look at it offensively, we were happy with the points we got, but not necessarily how we got them. We'd like to get more drives and, be able to have a more balanced attack between running and passing, some of the things that we looked at. But we were overall happy with the amount of points we were able to put on the board and the big play scenarios that we had. We had some drives stall inside. 2 of them, stall around the 20-yard line, whether it be penalties, sacks, and we didn't get any points out, and that's something we have to improve on as our red zone offense. And then defensively, like I said, being able to finish the game out. We played 3 really good quarters, then gave up a couple of big plays in that fourth quarter that, I attribute to them being out on the field too much. But we know there's a lot of improvement in both those phases. Special teams-wise, we punted the ball effectively, not as well as we'd like to. We had 1 missed extra point that ended up playing into some things at the end, and that we need. So little things we need to clean up special team-wise. But we're going to, continue to work on those things, and we never expect us to be where we want to be week 1. And as a coaching staff and program, we have to keep improving every single week of this season up to that playoff game, week 10. Question? Yes?
What do you think will be your toughest game this season?
Well, it's hard to look down the road because I think we're going to have a lot of tough games when the preseason rankings for Class 6 came out, and we have just the ones that are ranked in Class 6 or with Blue Springs South, Columbia, Rockbridge, and Rockhurst are all in there in the top 10 and deservedly so. And then looking at the rest of them, obviously Winnetonka has some great playmakers that we played last week. Ray Peck, who we played this week, opened up with a 42-0 win. This week, or in week 1 against Belton. Lee Summit had a big win that they won. They beat Raytown, 50-some to 20-some. I look at all the teams that we play, and a lot of them won by big points. And there's going to be tough teams every week as we go down the road. So that's one of the neat things about playing in this conference. You have to come play every Friday night, and we have great competition to line up against. And this week's no different with Ray Peck coming in. It's, a team that was, picked ahead of us in the preseason conference standings and has a lot of people back from last season. Yes.
So, as teams, prepare for Zombo now, and how are you going to counterattack that if they stop him?
I think one of the things about it, last week, a lot of our big plays went to Matthew, but he really didn't have as a lot more touches or carries than some of our other people. And our goal is to spread the ball around, and we feel like other things are going to execute. He had one of those nights the other night where, it's not really anything different than what we've seen in practice, and he did a lot of good things, but we have other people who are expecting great things too. And I think as we get through our season, we're going to need all those phases of our offense clicking with it. Yes?
Were you expecting such a performance from Matthew, or were you just surprised with it?
We were expecting him to play really well, but, we looked at with him gaining 332 yards on 23 carries. I don't think you ever really expect that. We expected him to play well, but maybe not break off as many as we had there. We went back. He had one play where he caught a pass that was backwards, a backwards pass, a lateral it was a 12-yard loss that accounted for a rushing yards. And he would have had our school record if it wasn't been for that play. If that had been a forward pass and a pass completion, he would have broke Lee Thompson's record from 1997. So it was that kind of a night for him. And to his credit, he had over 200 yards in the fourth quarter, which is almost unheard of. And he really finished strong at the end there, and we were proud of him. But when a kid like what Matthew's done, you look at their roster when he was a sophomore and he weighed 138 pounds. And he's a product of being in the weight room, working hard and getting better and stronger, and able to continue to grow and mature. And then he had a great night. That's a great to see somebody who's been a product of hard work and doing things to make themselves better each day.
Well, since he was able to put up 200 yards in the fourth quarter, what does it say about your team's conditioning?
Well, I think for, maybe not as much as our team, but his must be pretty well because he also took every snap at corner. So he was running around a lot, and he's a kid, when we do condition, he's usually first place in all of our drills. And, he's a great leader. He practices hard on the field with that, and he's, a one-speed type guy. So we see that, and then we have a lot of kids that are like that. But, as a whole, conditioning-wise, is something we'll work on throughout the year. We condition every week, whether win, loss, whatever it may be. We'll continue to condition and get better throughout the season. Yes?
You said Ray Peck is very run-heavy on offense, so what are you planning on doing defensively this afternoon?
A lot of different things. We every week defensively, we start off by looking at the opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and then looking at their formations and what they do, and then we game plan our defense off formations and tendencies, and we'll do the same with them. With that, one thing with them, they're a balanced attack in their running. They have a fullback and then two double wings plus a running quarterback. So there's really 4 people that can carry the ball, plus a receiver and a tight end in some sets. So there's a lot of as a defense. And you're looking at game planning against them defensively, they can be very multiple in where they can attack you from. And that's one of the things we're looking at this week. Yes?
What are some goals that your team has this year?
I mentioned earlier, our team goal overall is always each year we try to win our conference. Because we feel if we can win our conference, we can compete with anybody in the state. Our conference, as I mentioned earlier, is made up of great teams. The state champion last year was from our conference, and they didn't even win the conference title. And so we preach to our team each year to win our conference is our #1 team goal with that. Now, within that, our goals each week are, 1, we try to outrush our opponents. We feel that if we can outrush the other team, that's going to help us win football games. And then secondly, win that turnover margin. And those are the 2 things that we track every single week. We tell our kids how they do on and where we're at within that. And one other thing that plays into it this year, it's new, is that we're in an 18 district that's ranked each week. And that's something we'll also look at along with our conference standings because our district is made up of our conference plus Joplin and Rockhurst. So those are some of the things we look at each week. Yes. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming today, and have another great week of Blue Jay football. Thank you.
The weekly Coaches News Conference on KLPS TV is brought to you by Hawthorne Bank, a proud sponsor of Liberty School District. At Hawthorne Bank, we understand the importance of strong community in a strong school district. We also understand the importance of strong financial future for our school district's families and for our local businesses. Hawthorne Bank, with you every step. And by Jackson Hewitt. For all your tax needs, personal or business, rely on tax professionals at Jackson Hewitt and Liberty, a full-service tax preparation professional. Jackson Hewitt.